So these nested loops are also very much useful while getting some pattern kind of programs. Let's check out one of the example here. Let's say this is our pattern that we want to get. And here we have used the concept of nested for loops. In fact, we have taken these two for loops. This is your outer for loop and this is your inner for loop. So to start with, we have asked the user to supply a value of n. Let's say the value of n supplied as your 4. I mean, we need to print a pattern of this kind up to 4 rows. So in case of this nested loop, mostly we take the help of minimum 2 loops. That is, one is your outer loop, other one is your inner loop. Now, the outer loop is the one which is going to take care of the rows. Okay, so if I take this entire pyramid structure, we can let us consider that we have taken 4 rows. I mean, there are 4 rows, and if I divide them into a certain number of columns like this, say 4 cross 4. Now, each of the rows are being handled by this outer for loop, and each column, what has to be done, that is decided by the inner for loop. So now, when we have taken the value of n as 4, now we can see this I loop, that is the outer loop, is going to start from 1, goes up to n plus 1, that is 4 plus 1, 5. Means 1, 5 means the I value is going to be 1, then 2, then 3, and finally it is going to be 4. So which indicates that when I value is 4, we are looking after the first row, and when I value is 2, we are looking after the second row. Likewise, 3 indicates third row and 4 indicates fourth row. Now, for the first time when the I value is 1, which I am looking for the first row, as per our requirement, I could see whatever is the row number. I mean, you can see the I value starts with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So whenever the I value is 1, I need those many asterisks to be printed. Like you can see, when the I value becomes 2, I require 2. I value becomes 3, I require 3. Similarly, when I is 4, we are going to get 4 asterisks. Which means the J loop, the inner loop, I should write in such a manner that it has to work as many times the I value is. So, like for the first time when I value is 1, this range is going to produce 1, I plus 1, that is 1 plus 1 is 2. So 1 to 2 means only once the J loop is going to execute. And what we have done here, we are printing the asterisk. So after printing asterisk, because we know print function by default is going to add some new line, so it might come to the next line automatically. But as of now, because there is only one asterisk to be printed, we are okay with it. But in case of further, whenever there are multiple asterisks required, if each asterisk printed immediately we get a new line, that is not going to give the result what we are looking for. Hence what we have done, here we have written the print statement where I am printing the asterisk followed by end with a space. So I do not want after printing asterisk there should be a new line. Anyway, now this inner for loop, which is going to work only once, has printed this asterisk and also a space. Now after that the inner loop ends, now we come down to this print statement which is specifically written to bring the cursor to the new line. So after this print is executed, now the cursor is in the new line. Now for the second time when the I value begins with 2, so we can see that the J loop is going to execute 2 times. As a result of which we will be getting these 2 asterisks printed in the same line. And after the end of this inner loop, once again print function is going to bring the cursor to the new line. Similarly, for I value 3, we will be getting the J loop executed 3 times and asterisks are printed 3 times. Likewise, again print function is going to bring to the cursor to the new line here. And for the last time when the I value is 4, now this J loop is going to work 4 times, which means asterisk will be printed 4 in same line. And of course, when the J loop ends, print is going to bring to the new line. As I has come to the end, now we can say that our entire nested loop is going to terminate. In the meantime, we have got this pyramid structure where first row contains 1 asterisk, second row contains 2 asterisk, third contains 3 asterisk, and the fourth contains 4. Now let's see another pattern. Like here, we have supplied the number of rows to be 4. So we want a pattern of this kind where the first row should be printing 4 asterisk, second one should print 3 asterisk, third row should print 2 asterisk, and the last row should print 1 asterisk. Now let's see what is the logic behind this. So, and once again we have taken a nested for loop where this is an outer for loop where you can see I value range of n, because n is 4 here. So the I value is going to begin from 0, then 1, then 2, and then 3. Okay. Now the inner loop is going to start from j value, that is n minus I. For the first time, when the j value gets executed, because the I value is 0 now and n is 4. So 4 minus 0, that is 4. I mean, this inner loop is going to execute 4 times. As a result of which, I am going to print the asterisk 4 times along with a space ending. That means I'll get this 4 asterisks by the end of this inner for loop for the first time. And by the time this inner loop ends, once again the print function is going to bring the cursor to the new line or the second row. Now for the next round, the I value has become 1. Because the I value is 1 now, this j loop is going to go up to n minus I, 4 minus 1, that is your 3. Which means I am going to get 3 asterisks printed, like here 3 asterisks, again ending with a space towards the end. Now once again print function is going to bring to the cursor to the new line, and now when the third iteration begins, for which the I value is 2, as a result this n minus I, that is 4 minus 2, becomes 2 now, which means this j loop is going to work only 2 times. As a result, we are going to get 2 asterisks printed here. Once again print function brings to the cursor to the new line. Now for the last time, I value becomes 3, and this j loop is going to behave like range of n minus I, means 4 minus 3, that is 1, which means it is going to execute only once, as a result of which we get this asterisk. Now print function is going to bring to the next line, but by this time the I value has reached the last value, hence this nested loop completely terminates, and as a result of which we have got this pattern where the first row contains 4 asterisk, second row contains 3 asterisk, third contains 2, and finally the last row contains here 1 asterisk. Now let's have a look into one more pattern here. So this pattern is little different from the previous two. Now we have gone for asking number of rows from the user. Say it's again now 4 here. So now if you can see, now it does not have only asterisks. If you can see these places, these are some spaces. I mean, for the first row, I do not have any space. Rather, I have almost 7 asterisks here. Whereas in the second row, we have 1 space with 5 asterisks. And in the third one, we have 2 spaces followed by 3 asterisks. And in the last one, there are 3 spaces followed by 1 asterisk. Okay. So the combination of spaces and asterisks both are to be printed in the each and every row. So as far as the first row is concerned, we have 0 spaces and 7 asterisks. Now for the second row, we have to print 1 space followed by 5 asterisks. And in the third row, we have to print 2 spaces followed by 3 asterisks. And for the fourth row, I have to print 3 asterisks followed by 1. So if you can see, this is the number of spaces that I want on each iteration. Similarly, these are the number of asterisks that I require at each iteration. So for continuing with this number of rows, we will take one outer loop, and to print the spaces, we will take one inner loop, and for printing asterisk, we will take another inner loop. So in our example here, we will be dealing with 2 inner loops, one for printing the space, other one is printing for the asterisks. Now see what we have done. Once we have asked the user what is the value of n, then we have taken the outer loop, and the outer loop is starting with like the range function n value is how much? 4, and the end value is 0 and each time there is a -1, which means the I value is going to start with 4, then 3, then 2 and finally 1, right? Now for the first time when the I value is 4, my inner loop is going to begin, and this inner loop is responsible for printing the spaces. Because I could see in my first time I do not require any spaces. So let us see how this range function behaves. Now what is the n value? 4. What is the I value? That is also 4. So 4 minus 4, it is 0. J value is 0, which means it is not going to print any spaces for the first time. So no spaces printed. Now when we check this second inner loop, which is responsible for printing the asterisk, we have taken the I value, the I value is 4 here. So you can see the range function, 2 into I means 2 into 4, 8, 8 minus 1, that is 7. Okay, so we are going to get this range function executed 7 times starting from 0 to 6. And as a result of this, I'll be getting asterisk printed 7 times. That is what we have got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now once this inner loop is also over, now as usual the print function is going to bring the cursor to the new line. So now we are entering into the second line, second row in fact. So now when we go back to the outer loop, the I value has now updated to 3 because there is a -1 step value every time. So the I value now for the second time is 3. Now because the I value is 3, now this J will act on a range that is n minus I, that is your 4 minus 3, that is 1. So J value is going to be 1. Because J value is 1, I'll be able to get a single space. I'll be getting a single space here. And coming to this for loop K, K is range of 2 into I. What is I now? 3. So 2 into 3, 6 minus 1, 5. So the K value becomes 5, which means how many asterisks we are going to get? 5 asterisks. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now once again print function brings the cursor to the next line. Now going back to the outer for loop, this time the I value is 2. As I value is 2 now, so this range function for J loop is going to get me 4 minus 2, that is 2. Which means how many asterisks we are going to get? How many spaces we are going to get? 2 spaces. So it has printed this 2 spaces at the beginning. Now later on when the K loop or the second inner loop we reach, once again what is the I value? 2. So 2 into 2, 4 minus 1, that is, it is 3. It is going to print how many asterisks? 3 asterisks. 1, 2 and 3. Now again the print function is going to bring to the cursor to the new line. Now for the last time the I value is how much? 1. Because the I value is 1, now J acts on a range that is n minus I, that is 4 minus 1, that is 3. Which means how many spaces we are going to get here? 3 spaces. So 1, 2 and 3. Now coming to this K loop, which is printing the asterisks, as the I value is 1, 2 into 1, 2 minus 1, 1, means only 1 asterisk I am going to get. Now after the end of this inner loop, print function is going to bring the cursor to the next line. But when we move back to the I loop now, because it has reached the last value, hence the entire nested loop is going to stop here. As a result, we have got 0 space 7 asterisk, 1 space 5 asterisk, 2 spaces 3 asterisk and 3 spaces and 1 asterisk to the last. And this is how we are able to get this pattern.